are back, Posh Farms, episode 2 of Married at First Sight. More matchups and more weddings. But before we get to the gist of the day, it's a gentle reminder, guys. Please subscribe to my channel if you're watching this and not yet subscribed. Also, thank you to my new and existing Posh Farms. We are certainly getting there. Now to the gist of the day. The matchups and couples from episode 1 are, waking up together as husbands and wives. They are preparing for their honeymoon. On a side note, and again, there is nothing personal, and I'm not holding this against Lindor, but it appears cystic fibrosis is going to be her storyline. I don't know if she's going to be dragging this or if there's a charity that she's supporting, hence the reason for her coming on this show. Whatever the case, having to use your health condition as a storyline for dating reality experiment is just tasteless, in my opinion. Anyways, they are off to Fraser Island for their honeymoon. I guess we're going to check in on them and see how their relationship is unfolding. It is not all honey and moon for the matchups. Bronte and Harrison slept in separate rooms following the revelation of his serial dating ways. Now, if you missed this, just catch up with the recap of episode 1, where we uncovered a little secret about his life prior to coming on this experiment. Now, they have then decided that, okay, let's have a sit down and see where we can go from here. And a truce for the both of them is going to go a long way for them to be able to coexist and remain in the experiment. Why, Bronte? Well, I don't know, that's your choice. For them, it's going to give them whatever that is between them a chance to develop. And according to Harrison, their lives before the experiment is just that, their lives. And from here on out, which is the experiment, things is going to change, and he's looking forward to showing the side of him that he feels Bronte will like. And he didn't want Bronte to use his life before the experiment to judge their present situation. Well, the guy is a very smooth talker. Bronte seems satisfied, and away they go together on their honeymoon in the Hunter Valley. I guess there will be more of this to come. Cannot wait to see what happens during their honeymoon stay, because we already know the wedding kicked off with a few dramas. So it's going to be very, very interesting with this. Up next is the third and fourth matchups and wedding for the season. And tonight it's a culture explosion, guys. Sandy, 36-year-old dental hygienist from an Indian heritage, is the first for this show. For me, she is literally the first coming in with a cultural, diverse background. And for her, she is breaking her family tradition and rebelling essentially. According to her, she has been in a cage all her life. And it's about time for her, to break free and embrace adulthood. She is paired with Dan, a 42-year-old single dad and a digital business owner. The final matchup for tonight is an interesting one. It's none other than Jesse, who's 30 and a marriage celebrant who has been unable to celebrate his own marriage. I am not surprised that this dude is still single. He's a bit of a nightmare, this guy. He's got a long list of icks. And when I mean long list, it was a long list that I'm not going to spell you the drama of trying to list all of his icks, because they were lengthy. It does eliminate the entire population, guys, the entire female population with that list, because we all have something that he doesn't like on his list. I was just about to say good luck, to his match or whoever he's going to be paired with by the experts, not knowing that the expert actually delivered. They must have, searched long and hard because at face value, I'm saying face value because this got heated. At face value, Claire, 31, and the kindergarten assistant looks to be his perfect match. Again, face value is your pretty word here. She told him in her own words, I am loud and I am proud. I am loud in every way, just as you are loud, Jesse. So I think we are a perfect match. With the matchups complete, it is now on to the wedding day where the couple, get to meet each other for the very first time. Sandy, on her part, tried to break the news of her nuptials to her very traditional parents who end support. They end in support of the, according to them, inappropriate way she is choosing to find love. Cameras were not allowed into her family's home, and no surprise, she came out bawling her eyes out, telling us her parents are choosing, to distance from her and have refused to support her decision. Sandy then reads a text message from her best friend and, got emotional, and then reaffirms her decision to, forge on to find love on married at first sight. She feels she's making the right decision, girl. I don't know. Have you seen the show? Have you watched previous seasons? The odds are stacked against the odds are not in your favor, girl. The odds are certainly not in your favor. I don't know. Maybe you might turn things around. You might just be the shock value that the show needs to get its act together. However, I am not crossing my fingers on this one. Not knowing what the show is about. It's just gonna get crazy for you. Just be prepared, though. You need to be mentally prepared. Her sisters, are present. So she's not as if she doesn't have any family member coming for her. Her sisters have decided they're going to show their support, and they were represented. It felt like a culture shock, and it was a culture shock for the groom. And in fact, the entire guests at the wedding ceremony were really surprised. They were blown away by the interior, by the decorations, because it was all Indian themed, and I think it gave it away as to who the bride was definitely going to be for the groom's guests. I felt that the groom was very, very surprised when his bride walked towards him. It was a surprise for sure. She did, at the end of the day, win everyone over with her charm. And afterwards, a few hesitant guests, also sort of eased in and embraced her. Her vows brilliantly written. I would say, good luck to their adventure together. I just hope they make this. Next up, Jesse and Claire. A picture perfect match in edgy heavens. They seemed perfectly matched. They have matching jaw clicks when they chew, almost finishing each other's sentences. Jesse is intense as a person, and Claire, matches his intensity. It soon went downhill from there, with Jesse and Claire, as his pet peeve, started to come to light. All his pet peeves, she exudes. She is into astrology. She likes crystal to his annoyance, and an argument about how they both eat chips was just the high point for me. It led to a petty back and forth. I know I'm just going to enjoy these two clowns. I can't wait for it. Jesse, who is already, getting irritated, received a crystal from Claire as a protection. I mean, Claire is again none the wiser. She's oblivious to Jesse's peeves, and it appears, with his facial expression, he's about to throw the crystal as far away as possible. He made the decision, however, to give her like a chance and not judge her too quickly. Camera then, focused on back to Dan and Sandy, who have both bonded over, their circumstances and have developed a matured path. Things appear to be looking good for them. I hope they are going to succeed. They are dancing their way to their first night together. They woke up the next morning after the wedding and about to embark on their honeymoon in Singapore. Meanwhile, we're back to Jesse and Claire. It appears they have arrived at their honeymoon destination at the Whitsundays, and they look like they're about to throw each other off the cliff. Jesse met his match in Claire, I can guarantee you that, and he is not liking it one bit. We find out that they got off the plane after not speaking to each other. Apparently, Jesse tried to hush Claire up for talking too much, and she wasn't having it because talking too much, isn't going to, the fact that she talks too much is not going to hinder her not speaking up or defending herself. She's an independent woman, according to her. I guess we're about to see these two unravel. There's going to be more weddings to come, and we're going to have to unpack the dynamics of the honeymoon. Maybe in episode 3, who knows? We'll see you tomorrow. In the meantime, stay safe, guys.